house contains screens, smoke alarms, and a crystal chandelier. The contract of the sale mentions none of the items specifically. So before the final closing, the seller has the right to remove what?
C.
Okay,
None of these items, option D.
I said that D. D is in David.
good. We're going to cat, dog, apple, and boy. All right, so dog is the correct answer. None of these items. Okay, and why can the seller not remove it?
Because it's
Because they're fixtures.
Okay,
no,
they're
because
fixtures. But let's say
it wasn't a part of the contract.
thank you very much. Ding, 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 ding. That is the correct answer. It was because it wasn't included as part of the listing agreement that they were going to take the crystal chandelier, and therefore it remained with the house. If it was included in the listing agreement, then it would be in the MLS, and then the buyer's contract would state that the crystal chandelier was not included. All right, that's real life, and trust me, a lot of people get into trouble when they don't look at the MLS listing, because the listing has everything in there that you need to be able to write a contract up properly. Okay, the amount of earnest money deposit is determined by
C.
agreement of the parties. Ding, 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 ding. That is the correct answer. An owner sold his house on his own and still owed a broker a commission. He must have signed what?
C.
C.
C. Ding, 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 ding. Exclusive right to sell. Correct. Which can be executed without subjecting the signers to further responsibility for title.
A.
A.
Okay, good job. Ding, 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 ding. Quit claim deed. The utility company dug up a garden to lay gas lines. The company had an easement recorded at the county clerk's office. The owner claimed the easement was invalid because she was never told about it. The easement is what?
A.
A.
The easement was valid even if she'd never heard about it. Ding, 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 ding. When a court orders real property sold to satisfy an unpaid lien, the process is known as what?
Foreclosure.
Foreclosure. Ding, ding,
E.
ding, ding, ding.
E.
D is in dog. Ding, ding, ding. The tax rate is $7.80 per $100 assessment. If the property is valued at $87,500 and assessed for 50% of its value, what is the total property tax?
341250.
Good job, Al. It is correct. B is in boy
B
is
is
the
in boy.
correct answer.
That's it.
3412.50.
Yeah. You want to know how I did it?
Absolutely, so that everybody else knows too.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah. So if you go down a little bit, so I can see the question again. So what I did, I basically take 87,500, I divided by 2 and divided by 100 and then multiply by 7.80.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
again, they made it easy here. The state exam is not easy. So, this could say 70%, 65%. So, again, you're going to have to use whatever percentage they're saying
Right,
that it's assessed at.
Absolutely, yes. Because I did divided by 2 because I saw 50%. But
Exactly.
yes,
50%.
you're absolutely
Right.
right. It's a good point.
So again, be aware that again, when we're talking assessment, right? So they're either going to give you the assessed value or they're going to make you calculate the assessed value based on a percentage. Okay, good. Number 8, when appraising an office building, the appraiser is most concerned with what?
Net annual income.
D is net annual income is correct. Okay. Number 9, a borrower obtained a second mortgage loan for $20,000 at 10%. It called for payments of $175 a month over a period of 5 years. The final installment would be a balloon payment. This loan is known as what?
B, partially amortized loan.
I have B.
B.
Okay, B is the correct answer because they're
Okay.
telling us that the final installment would be a balloon payment. If they did not tell us that it was a balloon payment, then in that case, it would be a straight loan because in that case, the payments would only be interest. But because they're
Okay.
stating that at the end, there's going to be a balloon payment, therefore it was amortized, so some money's worth going towards the principal, but at the end of the loan they have to pay everything off.
And the easy way to remember, the way I remember, if you see there are something remaining at the end, it's always partially amortized loan. If everything is paid off at end of the mortgage life, it means it's fully amortized loan. So if you remember this two, you will be able to identify your answer quickly.
So what is the percentage loan?
Say that again.
Is there a percentage such thing as a percentage loan? I was thinking about interest only. I'm sorry, interest only.
Interest only, yes. And it's telling, and straight loan and interest only loan are the same thing, and
Okay.
all you are doing is just paying the interest. You're not applying any
Okay.
monies towards the principal.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, but at the end of at the due date of interest loan, so it's not a balloon payment or nothing like that? It's just
No, it would not be called a balloon payment, okay?
okay.
Because basically it's going to be the full principal that they borrowed. So so basically that is what made the real estate tank in 2006, 7, 8. It was because people were taking, they're called junk loans. They were taking interest only loans. And so let's say they bought a property for $1 million. They took a loan for $1 million and they were only paying interest. All right. Then
Okay.
the real estate tanked, right? And it tanked to
Mhm.
70, let's say 75%. It dropped 25%. And so now the property is worth 750,000, but they have $1 million loan that they still owe $1 million.
Okay.
Even though they've been making payments, they've been paying the interest, but they have not been making any payments towards the principal. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right. Number 10. If the interest rate is 5% and the monthly interest payment is $650, the principal sum would be what?
B, 156,000.
Thank you, Al. And would you like to explain it to us how you got that?
Yes, 650 is the monthly payment multiplied by 12. This is your part, and 5%. So you do 0.05. So you just divide it by 0.05. It will give you 156,000. So
Everybody okay?
you have a P and R.
Correct, you do. All right.
Can you show it on the
Yeah, hold on.
on the board?
Once again, please. Black. Okay. I'm hearing things. So 650 times 12. All right. So Al, what does 650 give you?
7,800.
7,800.
7800?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Then 5% is 0.05.
ooh. All right. And then you're going, I'll use this. So 7,800, right? And it's 5%. So if we're going to do the PBR, right? So we know that this is 5%.
Right.
Okay. Now 7,800, is that a partial number? Is that like a part of a big number?
Yes.
the answer to that is yes. Thank you very much. So it's 7,800. So what's above and what's below is always divided.
Divide.
Here
Okay.
is always 100%. Okay, did that help you?
Yes, I'm a little confused. So 7,800 divided by 5%, but 7,800 was the annual number, and 5%. So we got 156,000. Is that the principal paid throughout the year? The question is not asking for monthly principal or principal paid throughout the year.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Interest rate is calculated how? Is it calculated on in general? Is it calculated on a monthly amount or is it calculated on a yearly amount? Let's just start with that question.
Yearly.
The answer is yearly. Okay, so 5% times, in this case here was 156, we would get 7,800. And then if we divided that by 12, we would get the payment of 650.
And
So we just have to understand it. Okay, go ahead.
also
No,
Adil,
you have to know. You have to know that monthly interest, that when you're calculating interest for a loan, okay, it is always calculated on a yearly basis. And depending on the question, you may need to bring it down to a monthly number, or in this case here, they're giving us a monthly number. We need to bring it to a yearly number in order for us to do our calculation.
also, as I was mentioning other day, you can do revert. You can go different way. You can go take 156, 5%, you'll get 7,800 divided by 12. That will bring it to the 650. So then you know that this
You
is
got the right answer.
Exact.
Yes, exactly. So for those of you that this is a little too complex, then you could do what Al just mentioned. Use the answers, multiply it by 5%, divided by 12, and then then you'll figure out one of these is the correct answer. That's another version.
Yeah.
But the formula to calculate the interest is equal to principal is equal to interest times principal, right?
Over here, they're only talking
Interest
about
times
interest.
loan, not principal.
Yeah.
P,
only,
PNR upon 100, right? PRT upon 100. Interest is equal to PTR, right? That's the formula, right?
Yes. PAPS,
What?
PAPS, Blue Ribbon, and Gloria language.
So interest is equal to principal times rate, right?
Times rate, right? So 156
Uh-huh.
times the 5%.
That will give you the yearly interest.
That
yeah.
will give you the 7,800.
Okay, so the formula that I was getting stumped with is the formula will give you I is equal to PRT will give you the annual interest, not the monthly. You still have to divide that by 12.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, now I got it. Okay, sure,
That's
thanks.
correct. Yes. All right. So let's continue on. Okay. A man dies and devises his real property to his second wife for her lifetime, after which the property will pass to his children. The man's children own what?
Remainder interest.
Remainder.
Remainder. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, because the key word here that he's given the house to his second wife for her lifetime. That's the key word, for her lifetime. Okay. The prospective borrower decided to change the loan from FHA insured to a conventional loan. In this situation, the lender must do what?
A.
Okay.
Okay.
The new loan.
Issue a new loan estimate. That is the correct answer. A new loan estimate. So if anything happens with the buyer and it's going to do something to the loan, it's going to affect the loan, then the lender must spit out a brand new loan estimate. Okay. So if, for example, if they can't verify your your commissions, right? Or your bonuses or your overtime, okay? Then in that case, that's going to affect your loan. And so then based on that, they're going to have to spit out a brand new loan estimate because they're going to be putting them into another loan program. Okay. All right. Number 13, the market data approach is most important in appraising a what?
Older residents.
Older.
Good.
B.
Ding, 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 ding. B is correct. Older
Yeah, B.
residents is correct. Among the several pieces of information that the lender must gather before issuing a loan estimate is the applicant's what?
What's it?
Social security number, C.
C is correct. Social security number, ding, ding, ding. A broker listed a property. His salesman accepted a check for $5,000 earnest money with the offer. The salesperson should take the check and do what?
Give it to the broker.
D.
Okay, C is correct. And within how many days must the broker deposit this check?
5 business
Five.
days.
5 business days. Ding, 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 ding. Good job. Okay. 5 business days is the correct answer. Okay. Next. An owner signed a 30-day listing with a broker. The next day, the owner was killed in an accident. The listing was then what?
D.
D. Terminated.
Terminated. Ding, 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 ding. Good job. 17. A widow received ownership of the family home for the rest of her life, with title going to her children on her death. She owns what?
Life estate.
Life
A.
estate. Under the common law of agency, the real estate broker has a fiduciary relationship with whom?
A. Client.
The client.
Client.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Number 19. Title to real property is passed when a valid deed, when a valid deed is what?
Sign.
Nope. C.
Delivered.
C.
Delivered is the correct answer. Okay. So, and with the deed, if they're not recording it, does the buyer have to sign it to make it valid?
Yes.
No.
No. A valid deed for a deed to be valid, the buyer does not need to sign it, and there does not need to be a deed, a date. Okay, to be a valid deed. But if the buyer is going to record it, then the answer is yes, there's going to be a date, and yes, the buyer is going to sign off on it. Okay, the next one. A lot 80 feet wide and 200 feet deep is sold at $500 per front foot. The commission is 10% of the sales price, and the selling person receives 60% of the commission. What does the salesperson receive?
2,400.
Okay. And all right, does everybody understand how it went?
I can tell how I did.
Okay.
So 80 feet front multiplied by 500.
So 80 times 500.
Yeah, so that's give you, I think, 40,000, and 10% of that is 4,000.
Correct.
And from that 4,000, salesperson receives 60%. So 60% of 4,000 is 2,400.
Okay. Everybody good with that? Okay. There it is. 2,400 is the correct answer. Next, 21. Restrictive covenants that run with the land.
This one I did a mistake. I said C, but
B.
yeah,
B.
then I checked it. It is really B, but help me
B.
understand this one a little bit because
Sure.
I did a mistake on here.
That's okay. So, well, let me just, I will ask you several questions and you'll answer it yourselves as well. So, restrictive covenants. Restrictive covenants, are they attached by a government or municipality or a private person? Just to start with that. If I have a restrictive covenant, was that placed by the municipality or was that placed by a private person, such as a seller?
Private person.
Private person. Thank you very much. So that's part one. Anything regarding the property is always, and it's attached to the property, it's always going to be binding on the future owners of the property. So in this case, it's a restrictive covenant. So it means it's a legal promise, and we're restricting with this legal promise that you're not allowed to do something. But
I had a quick question.
yes,
When you think of covenant, can you always think of it as between like just private, like because covenant means agreement, or there are covenants for governments?
don't or oh, good question. Covenants. Well, warranty deeds. So warranty deeds are not private. Regular deed is that's all legal. So I don't know the answer, because if you have a deed and you're giving a covenant, it's still kind of like a legal thing. So I don't know if it's a personal thing, because you have to do title insurance policy for that. So I'm not 100% on that. My gut says yes, it's only people, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay.
The other thing that you need to know as far as running with the land are easements, right? Easements are attached to the property, and they will always run with the land, meaning they will always transfer over to the next owner of the property. Okay, so did that help you, Al? Okay. All right, so that's basically it. So a restrictive covenant, it could also be known as a deed restriction. Okay, means the same thing. Okay, again, a deed restriction is placed by a private individual. It is not placed by a municipality. The only thing that a municipality would place on a property would be zoning laws. All right, that would be where the municipality or the government would place something on the property.
So the answer is B.
The answer is B. That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. 22. VA and FHA mortgages are notable for their what?
Low
B. B.
Low down payment. Ding, 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 ding,
Yes.
ding. Okay, what was number 11? All right, let's go back to number 11. Somebody just put that up there. Hold on. So number 11 is a life estate. Right. Well, it is a life estate for after which the man's children
No, it's a reminder.
get a remainder. C is the answer. Okay, just if you didn't get the answer. All right, number 19. The title to real property is passed. Oh, we said that already. Okay, sorry about that. Well, it's passed just so that we finish it. It's when it's delivered is the correct answer. Okay, number 23. Who is uniquely in a position to provide your home loan toolkit to a buyer, but is not required?
B, buyer.
Lender.
Buyer's agent.
Buyer's agent. Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. Private restrictions on land use may be created by
Deed.
a deed. Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. Again, private is the key word. 25. The use of subtle means to induce buyers to settle in neighborhoods the broker thinks appropriate is known as
Steering.
steering is the correct answer. D is the correct answer. Oops. 26. A mortgage broker usually offers what service?
Borrower and lender together.
B.
B, yeah.
Borrower. Okay, who's got their speaker on? Please turn it off. Brings borrower and lender together. Okay. Do they get a fee for bringing the borrower and the lender together?
Who are there? No.
No, until when they deliver.
Does the mortgage broker get a fee for bringing the borrower and the lender together.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yes, the broker,
Yes.
keyword, mortgage broker, okay, is a middleman. And so they're going to get a commission for bringing the borrower and the lender together. Okay. All
Yes. Hi, Gloria. Can we revisit 21? Oh,
Repeat
I missed out.
21.
Yes.
Okay. A restrictive covenant that runs with the land.
Restrictive covenant that learns. For some reason, I got the answer as A when you did it yesterday. So can you explain why it cannot be A?
Well, you tell me. If there's a restrictive covenant, is that done by the municipality or is that done by a private individual? What do you think?
Oh, I got a little confused because I was thinking it of from the condo perspectives, like the eminent domain perspective. Sometimes
Okay,
they will.
you're putting in way too much. Stop thinking.
Mhm.
What is a restrictive covenant? A restrictive covenant is a private individual that's stopping something on that property. So in this case, we have land that is currently a bird sanctuary. I am selling this land, and the person that's buying my land, I'm letting them know that they can't build on it, that it has to remain a bird sanctuary.
So when they are saying restrictive covenants, they are not saying in the question. So we have to assume that it's the private owner selling it, right?
A restrictive covenant is always private person,
Uh-huh.
right? It's the same thing as a deed restriction.
Right,
Same
right.
thing.
Uh-huh.
So a
Gloria,
deed restriction, is that personal or is that government?
Personal.
Okay, so restrictive covenant is the same thing. It's a private individual.
Right. So they're just trying to trick us by saying restrictive covenant, but it's more or less it means the
They mean the same thing. They mean the
Gotcha.
same thing.
Okay.
As
Okay.
you haven't learned by now, real estate has 2 or 3 or 4 different words that means the same thing, and you need to know all of them.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. And 23 also, the answer is D, right?
The answer 23 is B, buyer's agent.
Okay, I got D. Okay. Who is uniquely in a position to provide the home loan toolkit to a buyer, but not required to?
Well, there's your key word, buyer.
But not required to. So the buyer's agent is not required to prove. But the other three should have to provide. That's what I got.
Insurance agent has nothing to do with it.
But they're just putting
Closing
that
agent has
confusing.
nothing to do with it.
Okay. Only the lender has to provide.
Right.
The lender needs to provide it. That's the law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the buyer's agent can provide it, but they don't have to because that's not the law for the buyer or for us to provide it to them.
Right. So closing agent is not even concerned with providing the home
Well,
loan.
closing is what? Closing is at the end.
Right. It's a settlement agent, right? It's just a settlement.
Correct.
And insurance agent is also just a settlement.
At the end, we don't need to worry about that either.
Right. So it's just to confuse that they're putting these on the options, right?
Okay. Yes. So my next question is to everybody. Within how many days must this home loan toolkit be spit out?
3 business days.
3 days. 3 business.
3 business days. That is correct.
The glory is supposed to be the lender because it's the lender that provide it, but buyers are not able to tell them about it, but it's the lender.
The law, like I said before, the law requires the lender to give the home loan toolkit, but a buyer's agent can also provide it.
Okay.
All right. It's not the law that they provide it, but if they want to help out and all of this, they can provide it, but it's not the law. The law is the lender must provide it within 3 business days.
Yeah.
All right. That's the key word. Okay. So we're at 25. We just finished, and the broker thinks appropriate. We said that that was D for steering. Number 26, we said that the mortgage broker, what do? They bring the
B.
borrower and the lender together. And does the broker get a fee for bringing the borrower and the lender together? And the answer is yes, because they are a middleman and they're making a commission. Okay. A broker receives a commission only if she produces a buyer before someone else sells the property. She is probably working under what type of a listing?
A. Open list.
Open listing.
Open listing, ding, ding, ding. Investors will sometimes borrow money to make a real estate purchase. This practice is called what?
C, leverage.
B.
C.
B.
C, like Charlie.
Leverage.
Leverage.
It's
B.
leverage. Cat, it's leverage. Okay. Number 29. A broker listing a house may be guilty of discrimination for purposely not mentioning the house to whom? All right, you guys
Number 29.
watch your
D.
any of these, correct?
D. Yeah.
So it's basically discriminating against anybody. We're not allowed to do that. Okay. So deed restrictions are a method by which what?
B.
It's a D.
Okay. So number 30 is, again, the seller can limit the buyer's use. Okay.
D.
No, D is in dog. Which of
Yes.
the following exceptions is not allowed under New Jersey's fair housing law?
C.
Nope.
B like boy.
Boy, homeowners may discriminate when selling their own home. Okay. So again, if you are not using an agent, you are not advertising discriminately, you can sell your own home. Now, if I am the owner of the house and I am asking my son to sell my house, to help me sell my house, does he need a license? And I'm going to give him a Mustang.
No.
Yes.
The answer is yes,
Yes.
because he's getting paid with the Mustang for helping me sell my house.
It's exchange of money. You're exchanging
Exactly. It's an exchange of value,
Yes.
right? There's an exchange of value. So the answer is yes, the son needs a license. Okay. Okay.
Just can we go back to 31, because I also got tricked with that. I came up with C, but here the question is tricky. It's a New Jersey question, right? So it's not allowed under New Jersey Fair. So in New Jersey, you cannot, even if you're selling your home, you cannot discriminate when selling your own home, right? So if I put my for sale by owner in my yard and like somebody shows up, African American, I cannot discriminate, right? That's what it means, right?
Well, you can't no matter what, you can't discriminate on race and color.
Right.
No matter what.
See, religious organization may discriminate. This is also not allowed in New Jersey, right? It could be the answer could be C also. That's why I could not eliminate. Can you explain why it cannot be C?
Okay, let's first start with homeowners may discriminate when selling their own homes. They can discriminate on anybody that they want, but it cannot be on race and color because that's the Civil Rights Act. So it doesn't matter who you are, you can't discriminate on the Civil Rights Act. Okay?
Right.
But any other version after that, a homeowner can discriminate. Okay? Religious organizations can discriminate based on their religion. So they don't have to sell. Let's say we have a Catholic person and then there's a Jewish person wants to buy this Catholic house. Let's just say, I mean, it's owned by a Catholic religion, right? the religious organization can say, no, we are only selling to Catholic people. But they're not discriminating on race and color, so they can discriminate based on their religion.
So then why is C not the answer here? Why did we eliminate C?
We eliminated C because they can discriminate on the basis of religion.
As she mentioned that you can discriminate. It is allowed for religious perspective.
Correct.
So
Okay,
that's
so-
why you eliminate.
Oh, got you. Okay, but B, the homeowner cannot discriminate no matter what.
Right.
Okay, but under New Jersey Fair Housing Law, it's saying.
Which of the following exceptions is not allowed under New Jersey Fair Housing Law? Exception.
Okay, all right.
It's an exception is not allowed. What am I not allowed to do?
Not
Okay?
allowed to discriminate. Okay,
The
that's
homeowner
how you should
cannot
do it.
discriminate, but religious organization, yes.
Okay, got you. Okay, thank you.
All right. And again, you have to, again, for everybody, if because this is very confusing, so you might need to reword it in other words for you to understand the question, right?
Yeah, I took note of that and I said not allowed to. So that's a good way of looking at it. Not allowed
Okay.
to.
All right,
Right.
so you have to
Sometimes
reword it
the-
so that you can
some-
understand it.
Yeah, sometimes the way they write the question,
Exactly.
they will try to confuse us. It's on
Oh,
purpose.
not try. They do confuse
They
us.
do, I know, exactly.
They do confuse us. No question about it. And they do it intentionally.
Exactly. And that's why sometimes it's a good idea to go reverse. You go from answer to the question.
Exactly.
The question
Sometimes,
answer first,
yep.
then to the question.
Sometimes that's a better way of doing it as well. It all depends on what works for you. Okay.
Yeah, I do that many times.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. All right. So the primary purpose of a deed is to do what?
Transfer
D.
title
D.
rights.
Prove ownership.
Then
D.
Charlie.
B.
C as in Charlie.
EC.
Charlie Cat transfer title rights. Okay. It does not prove ownership. All right. It does not give notice to anybody, and it does not furnish any security. All it is doing is the seller is voluntarily transferring the title right of ownership to the new buyer.
Yeah, and another trick is sometimes you can eliminate the answer, and then you will see there are obvious answer that can be eliminated right away.
Exactly.
So maybe you eliminated two right away, and then deal with two. Then you will get your answer.
Exactly. Yep. You're always going to find two right answers. Okay. That's one thing on the state exam. And having said that, I will say this. Let's say on a CIS, right? Consumer Information Statement. Well, I'm going to ask you the question and we'll go from there. So, on a consumer information statement, when must we give that to the consumer?
When you are signing contract.
Okay. That's not a good answer.
Okay.
Consumer information, that's when
Within
you,
3 business.
The CIS statement. When do you give the CIS statement?
when you agree to do something financially
Wrong again.
for that.
Nope.
Ah,
Nope. All right. So the correct answer is when the buyer talks about motivation and financial
Motivation.
ability. That is when you must give the buyer the CIS. All right. Or if you were talking to the seller before you went on an appointment and they started talking about motivation and financial motivation as well, right? The finances, then at that point, based on the legal answer, because that is the legal answer, based on financial and motivation is when you need to give the CIS to the person. Okay? That is the 100% correct answer. Okay? But you're looking at the question on the state exam and you do not see that answer. You know that that is 100% correct answer, but you don't have that answer. Then in that case, you're going to have to find the correct answer that's going to answer the question based on the answers that you have available. And so they trick you that way as well. All right. So you know the 100% correct answer is based on motivation and finances. That answer is not in the multiple choice, and the choice would be, let's say, as soon as possible. All right, and then the others are ridiculous. Then that's the only answer that you can choose that does answer the question. Okay, so that's very important because there's a lot of those kind of questions. So hopefully that helps. Okay, a summary of the history of all conveyances and legal proceedings affecting a specific parcel of real estate is called what?
Abstract of title.
Abstract of title is the correct answer. Okay, number 34.
D.
Number 34 is D. Okay, at the closing, the cost of filing the deed in the public records usually appears as what?
E.
C. C.
34. C is correct.
D.
C. C.
Cat,
C,
debit
C,
to the buyer.
Yes, C.
Okay, debit to the buyer because they're filing the deed in their name. So it's going to show up on the buyer's side. Okay. A person cannot successfully claim that he or she did not know about the contents of any recorded document because this legal principle is known as
constructive notice. D, like
constructive notice. Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. All right. Did somebody say something? Okay. The purpose of TRID, the loan estimate, is to ensure what?
D. Buyers are aware of all costs.
That's correct. Buyers are aware of all the costs relating to their mortgage loan. Okay. Number 37. A building was bought for $250,000 with 10% down and a loan for the balance. If the lender charged the buyer 2 points, how much cash did the buyer need?
A.
Nope.
the answer is D.
The answer is D, 29,500.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what you have to do is you've got to take the 10% away from the 250. So basically it's 90% of 250 is the loan, right? And then the points is going to be off of the 90% because points are calculated off of the loan amount. And then you're going to have to add the percentage plus the 2 points, and that's how much they need. Okay, everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, number 38. A mortgage loan payable in installments sufficient to pay the principal off by the end of the term is called what?
A.
A.
A fully amortized loan is correct. Which of the following deeds contains no express or implied warranties?
Quit
B.
claim.
Quit claim deed is the correct answer. The disclosures required by TRID apply to whom?
Lenders
D.
financing purchase.
D.
The lenders financing purchase of a residence. That is correct. Number 41. A comparative market analysis is usually provided by whom?
C.
B, like boy.
C.
Not the lender,
B, like boy.
the listing agent, right? A
It's not
CMA.
the appraiser.
No.
Nope. What does the appraiser give?
The comparative market analysis is when you list the home, you basically do this analysis, which is also called comp. So, which you give it to the seller, and this is how you determine your price. So this is always done by listing agent.
That's correct. And the key word here is
Okay.
usually. Okay, that's the key word usually. But as a buyer's agent, you can also give them a CMA. All right. But usually the CMA is set up for the seller because we get paid by the seller. The seller makes the decision on how much it's going to cost, and we have to help them to figure out what they're going to sell the property at. Okay. So that's really what we're talking about here. So the answer is the listing agent. The appraiser, it gives us an appraisal. All right. And their appraisal is a certified number. Ours is not. Ours is a market range. Okay. It's a range. It's not an actual number. Okay. Number 42. A legal action brought by either buyer or seller to enforce the terms of the contract is known as what?
Injunction.
No.
B and boy.
Boy is correct. It's a specific performance. What are we trying to make the seller do? We're trying to make the seller go forward and finish the contract, and basically, sell it to us. All right, that's what we're talking about. An injunction is something done by the court.
Court.
Okay, the court does that. Okay, number 43. To avoid possible violation of antitrust regulations, one should avoid any discussion of commissions with whom?
A as an apple.
A apple, a competitor. Okay. My answer is don't talk to anybody about commissions. In general, keep it simple, stupid. If you want to talk about commissions, talk about it with your broker. And of course, you're going to talk about commissions with the seller when you're negotiating to decide on a commission for selling their house. Okay, number 44. What is cash flow?
C.
Like Charlie.
Charlie, total remaining money
C,
after
yes.
expenses have been paid, right? So we've calculated. We had the gross income. We took away the expenses. We got to the net operating income. Then we took away the mortgage. And then what was left over was the cash flow. In other words, what's in my hot little hand that I can spend. Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. All right. The town allows construction on quarter-acre lots. One subdivision has a restriction for at least 1-acre lots. In this situation, what do we have?
C.
Is it this is I missed it, and then I know the answer. This one but I didn't understand. Can you help me?
Sure.
Why it is D?
Okay. So let's go back to the word restriction. Who puts a restriction on property? Government or private person? Private person. The subdivision, is that usually, let's say, a builder or a seller, a builder, right, or a seller owns the subdivision, right? They're building in the subdivision. Are they a private person?
The builder can be a company.
Say that again?
The builder can be a company, organization.
But it's a person, though.
Yes, it is.
Right? It's a private person. It's not government.
Right, that's true. Yes.
Okay. So in this case, the builder is the one that put the restriction that it's going to be 1-acre lots, that they're only going to allow to build on 1-acre lots. Okay. So who can enforce this restriction? In this case here, it's going to be the neighbors. They can enforce the 1-acre limit. But again, it's going to be through a court order. Now,
That's where I was confused. Why neighbors? The
because
word neighbors confused me.
the word neighbors confused you. It's a subdivision, right? So let's say it's 10 houses.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you see this one person is going to split their 1 acre and they're going to make a half an acre and half an acre, right?
Okay.
So who knows? In this case, let's put the onus on the buyer's agent. They were not a good buyer's agent and they didn't look at the restrictions, nor did they tell the buyer that there's a restriction in this development, in the subdivision. And so now this person bought it, right? And now you can see that they're doing the survey and everything, and you can see that it's being split up into 2 different lots. So the builder already sold off all the lots, right? Let's just say. So who is there that knows about the restriction that can enforce it?
Neighbors.
The neighbors.
Oh, that's why, like, when there is a township meeting or something, all the neighbor comes and they object.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
Okay. And you could have the same kind of a restriction in a condominium complex or a condominium development, right? So again, it's all been sold. All of this information is available, right? Constructive notice. We already talked about that. So in this case here, that everybody knows about it. If they don't, shame on them. But most everybody knows about it because it's their property. And so in this case, they are going to make sure that it's enforced. All right, so that there's no special whatever.
46.
So the answer is D, dog. Neighbors may enforce the 1 acre limit, but only through a court order. All right, so they'll have to go to court and present their action.
Just question on that. I missed a part of the explanation. If you can scroll up for that number 45. So the neighbors may enforce a 1 acre limit. So if the township is saying that you can only construct on quarter acre lots,
Correct.
but only one subdivision out of that whole town, only one of the subdivision of the town has a restriction for where people can construct 1 acre lots. Right? That's what the question is asking. Because I got confused and I came up with C for some reason. The township is allowing construction on quarter acre lots.
Okay, hold on a second. Restriction. Again, we're back to restriction.
Uh-huh.
Who puts the restriction?
It's the developer, right?
Right. So is he a private person?
Yes.
Okay. So that's why there's a restriction, and that's why the neighbors have to enforce it. It's nothing to do with the government.
Yeah, so they're just giving the first sentence to confuse you. The township allows construction on quarter acre lots.
No. Okay, again, read the words. Everybody has, all right. So here it says the town allows construction on a quarter acre lot. The subdivision has a restriction. I know, nobody reads. Okay, we're all into these letters, TXTs, LOLs. This is not a TXT or an LOL situation.
So the subdivision has a restriction for at least 1 acre lot. So the subdivision is saying, the developer is saying, okay, you can only put 1 acre lots.
Correct.
So then why does the neighbor have to go to the court? Oh, for 1 acre limit. Okay, neighbors may enforce a 1 acre limit. If one of the neighbors says, okay, I'm still confused. Why neighbors may enforce the 1 acre limit, but only
the
through
division has been sold, so we only have neighbors there.
right.
Developer sold off everything.
So,
Okay.
So, and they see that this person wants to subdivide their lot, right? The restriction says 1 acre, but they're going to be building 2 houses or 3 houses. They're not allowed to do that because the restriction says 1 acre.
Oh, okay. So you have to look at it that way. You have to look at it, even though they're not specifying it. You have to look at it.
No, they're specifying it. They specified the subdivision has a restriction for at least 1 acre lots. This situation means that you can only have a house on 1 acre lot, even though the town allows to have constructions on quarter acre lots, which means in this case you would be able to have 4 houses. But the subdivision has allowed only 1 house on 1 acre.
So Adil, you may have one lot 1 acre lot. I live next to you, and this town has a permission to build house on quarter acre. So you quietly start building 4 houses, and I live next door. So I said, I know this lot is 1 acre lot. He doesn't have rights to build 4 houses. So I go to the court and put you in trouble. That's it.
Exactly. But you can't, again, I'm back to you cannot read more into it. You have to read what the question is telling you, and you need to know what the words mean. So in this case here, it's a restriction. It's done by a private person, and they're saying we are only allowing 1 acre lots. So what do you need to know about that? There's a restriction. It's only 1 acres. The development has been sold, so there's only people living there, and obviously the people living there know what their restrictions are.
Right, right.
And if they don't, shame on them, but guaranteed everybody knows what the restrictions are. And believe me, your neighbors know everything, and they're not going to allow you to get away with it.
Right.
And that applies also with condominiums. So if you have a condominium development, again, the same thing. They may have certain restrictions, like some of the restrictions are in a typical condominium restriction. You can't put a realtor for sale sign on the front lawn, or in front of the door. It can only be in the window. Or you can't have a mailbox outside. You have to go to the communal mailbox. Or you can't have any flower pots or whatever. These are all restrictions that were placed, maybe not, this building was built 25 years ago. Those restrictions were put into place 25 years ago. All right. And anybody, as a real estate agent, as a licensee, you better know about these kinds of things, because you're selling the property. If you don't know about it, and you're not telling the people to look into the CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, then in that case, you're not doing your job either.
Yeah, I'll give you a real life example. One of my sister, she was selling home in Marlboro, one of the development, and she doesn't know, and the real estate agent don't know. So real estate agent put a sign in front of her lawn, and
Right.
then next morning there is a knock on the door from the HOA, said you have to remove it. You're not allowed to put any sign in
Exactly.
front of.
So you need to know about that, and shame on you if you don't. And shame on you if you don't, as the real estate licensee. So if you don't know, then you're going to have to find ways to get a copy of the CC&Rs so that you can read it, or you talk to another agent who sold a lot of houses there, or. But it's our job, if we're selling condominium, if we're selling that development, it's our job to know that.
You just mentioned CCNR. What is that?
Covenants, conditions, and restrictions.
Who
That's
did that?
where this information that we're talking about would show up.
And where should we get this?
You would be getting that from the homeowners association.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. And basically your seller, if you're talking about, if you're representing the if you're representing the seller as a listing agent, you should be getting that from the seller. Now, I will tell you that you have to hound the seller, because in general.
Yeah, if seller is like my sister, then no, she doesn't know.
But they all got it. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to any seller. This is real life. Don't listen to any seller say, "Oh, I never got it." Okay.
So first thing, as an agent, we should ask the seller, do you have a HOA? If they say yes, then you should go to the HOA and look for this document, right?
No, you should ask the seller for that document, because
Yeah,
the
okay.
seller is the one that has it. The HOA are pain in the whats, and they are not going to be helpful to listing agents. I can tell you that now. All right. And they're not helpful to buyers either. So that's why, as the listing agent, you want to hound your seller as much as you can, within limits, of course. But you want to hound your seller to get you those CC&Rs. All right. Now, I'm told that some associations recently, this is very recent, have started to put the CC&Rs up on their websites. And just so you know why. The reason is because there's a law. That's in our contracts that we write up with buyers. And our contract states that the buyer has to get a copy of the CCNRs before they make an offer. And all up until now, we've all right. So I can tell you that as of recent stuff, the owner associations, condo associations, homeowner associations, they are now putting those CCNRs on their webs, and so yes, you would potentially be able to access them from the web if your seller was not forthcoming with it. All right, number 46. The owner lives in one side of a duplex. He refuses to rent the other side to a single Black woman with good credit and income. He tells her he wants to choose his neighbors. The woman may have a remedy under which of the following acts?
Be like boy.
Boy, Civil Rights Act of 1866. No discrimination against race and color.
Even if you're owner occupied, you cannot. This is owner occupied, right? This
Rights Act never discriminate on race and color. Never, ever, ever, ever. In the valuation of a large building, which approach is given most weight?
Be like boy.
Income capitalization, right? Large office building means typically in this case it's an investment, and so therefore the appraiser is going to use the income capitalization. A broker must pay Social Security taxes, workers' compensation, and unemployment insurance for all who are what?
Who are employees?
B.
Are employees. Ding, ding, ding. The fiduciary duty forbids a listing broker from doing what?
C as in Charlie, advertise property at less than.
That is the correct answer. Ding, ding, ding. Which of the following represents a voluntary lien? What is considered a voluntary lien?
A. Mortgage.
A, mortgage. Ding, ding,
A.
ding. A house sold for $157,000. The broker charged a 6% commission and divided it as follows: 10% to his salesperson who took the listing, and then the rest was divided equally between another salesperson who made the sale and the broker's office. So what was the listings agent commission?
942.
42.
No, 942.
Okay.
The answer
I'm
is
looking
A. 942.
Yep, 942. Okay, everybody good with that? Or do we need to have Al
Yeah.
help us out? If we're all quiet, we're moving forward. A company constructed a swimming pool. On completion, the company filed a lien for non-payment. This was most likely a what?
Construction lien.
Construction lien, also known as? What's the other?
Judgment lien. Judgment lien.
Nope, not a judgment lien. So
Involuntary lien.
it's an involuntary lien. Ding, 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 ding. Also known as a mechanic's lien. Okay, so construction lien or mechanic's lien means the same thing. Okay, number 53. The term leverage refers to what?
B.
B. The use of borrowed money to finance most of an investment. All right, sorry. Okay, so again, the answer is B. The use of borrowed money to finance most of an investment. The illegal practice of inducing panic selling in a neighborhood for financial gain is called what?
Blockbusting.
Blockbusting. Ding, 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 ding. Good job. Okay, 55. A broker must obey a seller's instruction to do what?
D.
D as in David.
Yep, be present personally at all showings of the property. Okay, so obey their instruction. Now, if they ask you to do something illegal, do you obey that?
No.
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 Ding,
No.
ding, ding, ding. Okay. A document that transfers possession but does not transfer ownership is what?
Lease.
Lease.
A lease. Ding, 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 ding. Good job, everybody. All right. Triggering terms are phrases in an advertisement that do what?
D.
D, require
D.
full disclosure of financing.
Right. So what that also means is that you have to detail out whatever it is that you're putting in the ad. So if you're putting in a percentage, then you're going to need to detail all the other numbers that belong to that percentage. Okay, number 58. The term depreciation refers to what?
B, like boy.
Bill, loss of
B.
value in real estate due to any cause.
Nichols.
Okay, any cause whatsoever. How many lots, each measuring 72.5 feet wide by 100 feet deep, could be created from a 2-acre block of land?
D.
12.
12 is the correct answer. Everybody good with that? Or do we need Al to help us out with that?
It's,
Yes.
It's 7-Eleven. We need 7-Eleven. 4, 3.
Right? So 4,
Yeah, 43560.
560, right?
560.
Time 2
Fine.
2,
is 43,560. So that's 12.
87,
That's
120.
11. What was it?
87, 120.
Okay, 87, 120. Okay, what's the next thing that you're going to do?
Each measuring 75 feet wide. So it's divided by, let me see.
2.5. 87120 divided by 72.
Yeah, 72.5.
72.5.
Okay, so that's a division.
Yeah, basically you have to move that 0. No, it's a feet. I'm sorry. No, sorry.
No, it's 72.5.
Yeah,
That was the correct answer is number D, 12 lots. Okay.
No, but we get 1200 when we divide that. So why?
See,
87120.
I don't do it that way. All right. So I will show you how I do it. I have to do what I do is this is correct. This is how I do it. Okay. I get to this point here. And then what I do is I do 72.5 times 100. All right. And that's going to give me what's it going to give me? 7,205, right? 50, right? Because I'm going to move it over 2. And then I'm going to take this number and divide it into that number.
Yeah, that's what I did. 87120 divide by 7250.
Yes, exactly. Forgetting anything, the fastest and easiest way is to take this number, figure out what each lot equals in square feet, right? So let's say it's 50 times 100. So that would be 5,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's 5,000 square feet, and we're going to divide it into 87,120. All right, that's the better way to do it, just so that you don't get lost along the way. All right, everybody good with that?
Yep.
All right, so now we're on number 60. The amount of money that would be paid for property by a buyer to a seller, both being ready, willing, and able to act, and both being fully informed, represents that property's what?
Market value.
Market value. Ding, 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 ding. So contract price, purchase price, based on the buyer that's ready, willing, and able, is then the market value. That's the 100% value for that property. The owner sold a duplex for a profit of $50,000 and took back a mortgage. The seller, what happens then?
B, pays income tax.
C,
Yeah,
pays
like that.
taxes.
They pay the income tax year by year as the payment is received. Okay, that's the key word. So as they make a payment, then the seller is paying income tax on the payment that they received from the buyer. All right, number 62. A subdivider developer would like to control the types of vehicles that can be parked in front of homes in his classy subdivision. He can accomplish this with what? All right, come on, Adil, you should know this one.
Deed restriction.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
Good job. Deed restriction is the correct answer. One way an investor in real estate may defer capital gains taxes is by doing what?
Exchanging for like property.
Exchanging for like property.
Ding, ding.
1031.
That is correct. It's a 1031 exchange. In the valuation of a hospital, which approach is given most weight by the appraiser?
Cost.
Always cost, right? Hospital, municipal building, they're always going to go by cost because they're not making any money. Number 65, the sale of time sharing units is
Only for 7 days. B.
okay. So the sale of time sharing units allows the buyers the right of rescission for 7 days, meaning that if the buyer puts a contract in, they can back out of the contract within 7 days, 7 calendar days. Here we are, CC&Rs. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions are placed on a condominium or cooperative development by whom?
Developer.
Ding, 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 ding,
C.
ding. That is the correct answer. The primary objective of a property manager should be to provide the owner with what?
B
A.
like boy.
C.
A.
Right?
B
The
like
answer
boy.
is the highest return on the
Highest
property
return.
value. All right. B, the
That's
highest
their job.
return on the property value. That's their job.
Yes.
Number 68, if a radon test on a home reveals a reading of 14 picocuries per liter, a prospective purchaser should probably do what?
Request remediation.
Request remediation. What is the minimum? What is the minimum allowed for picocuries that's safe?
4 and under.
4 picocuries. Ding, 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 ding. Good job.
The
Number
minimum or maximum?
Minimum, a maximum 4 picocuries. They have to have 4 or less.
Anything above the 4 is
Is-
anything
Anything,
needs a remediation, right?
that is
Right.
correct. Anything over 4 needs remediation. That is correct. Number 69. A house sells for 102,000 and is appraised at 100,000 by a lender who is willing to make a 75% loan to value ratio loan. How much down payment does this house require?
C.
C.
27,000.
27,000 is the correct answer. Ding, 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 ding. Is everybody good with that one?
You wanna know how?
Go ahead.
100,000 because even though the house sells for 102, it appraised for 100,000 means $2,000. This person has to pay from their pocket. Take 70%.
Exactly.
25% is 25,000, and then you add that $2,000, so it's gonna give you 27,000.
Exactly. All right. Because you're always going to go by the appraised value.
Yes.
Okay, that's the key word right there. Everybody good with that?
Yes. No ding ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
All right.
You always forget when I answer something. Whenever
Well, that's
Adi
because
answers, you always say ding ding ding.
Okay, fine. All right, from now on, Al, you're going to get the ding, ding, dings. All right. Under the provisions of the ordinary store lease, trade fixtures that remain in the store after the expiration of the lease become the property of whom?
New tenant.
The lease C.
Be like boy.
Okay, the answer is number 70 is the lessor,
Yeah, the
the
lessor.
owner of the property.
The owner.
I did a mistake.
Okay. Sorry, can't ding you on that one. Ah!
I said C.
All right, so lessor is the owner, right? So after the expiration of the lease, it becomes the ownership of the owner of the property. Which of the following obligates the broker to distribute the listing to other brokers?
Multiple listing.
Multiple listing.
Ding, 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 ding.
C.
See, multiple listing, ding, ding, ding. A void contract is one that is what?
C, missing an essential element.
Exactly. Missing an essential ding, 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 ding. Missing an essential element, right?
Yeah,
Therefore,
I was sorry to interrupt. I was getting confused, and I came up with A for some reason because a contract which is not in writing. I was in writing within 5 days. It has to be in writing, right? So, but it's void, right? If it is not in writing, I was thinking it could be A also. But how should I eliminate A?
Because Adele, if there is nothing in writing, there is no contract.
have nothing.
Yeah, but if we have like the motivation that we said before, right?
That's not a contract.
It's not
I
a
know.
contract.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
But it's if we have a contract, there was a question somewhere which says if the contract, if within 5 business days, it has to be put in writing, right?
That's the parole evidence rule. The 5 business days. So the question here though is it's saying void contract. You've got the word contract in there, right? It's not saying avoid verbal discussion or anything like that. It's saying it's a contract. That means we have something in writing, right?
Gotcha.
We would not have a contract if it's not in writing. Is a better way.
It's a void contract is one that is missing. So it's saying that a contract is void if it is missing in it. Okay, that way.
Right, and essentially.
What is the word you said? Parole evidence rule?
Parole evidence rule is you're put it in writing within 5 business days.
Gotcha. Okay.
73. If there is an incident of discrimination, the complainant has to prove that what?
C.
Discrimination occurred.
That it occurred, right? Very important. If it happened, they have to prove that it occurred. An option is a contract that what?
B keeps an offer for a specific period.
For a specific period of time, right? Keeps an offer open for a specified time. Do we write options? Or better yet, do we prepare options? No, we don't. It's through a lawyer. We don't prepare options. We only prepare contracts for a single family to 4 family and a residential vacant lot. And we prepare contracts, we don't write them. In the cost approach, the appraiser makes the use of what? Makes use of the what?
B.
Replacement cost of the building.
Replacement cost, correct. So again, in the cost approach, we either have a choice of replacement cost or reproduction cost. And again, and keep it simple, stupid Gloria language, reproduction cost equals cloning, just as an FYI. Okay, number 76. And we're so a lease that requires the lessee to pay taxes, operating expenses, and insurance is called what?
Net lease.
Net lease, yeah.
Net lease.
It's net lease?
Yes, it's a net lease. Taxes,
So everything is included with the net lease.
Yeah.
right. Actually, it's a that's a triple net lease, but net lease is all we got. So that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tenant with a month-to-month tenancy must give the landlord how much notice of intention to vacate?
1 month.
1 month. Ding, ding,
1 month.
ding. Yes. When recorded in the county where real property of the defendant is located, a judgment becomes what?
This is the involuntary lien.
Ding, 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 ding.
Have a seat.
Involuntary is the correct answer. Now, a judgment is, does a judgment also apply to the person, or is it just for the real estate?
To the person.
To the person
person, oh.
also. It's both.
Mm.
It applies to
Mhm.
the real estate and it applies to the person.
So question on that. If let's say there is a judgment against a person, and the person owns like in one county it's recorded, but he owns a property in another county, so that will be also on the judgment against him, against his name.
No,
So then
a judgment, no, they would have to physically, so in order to make it into a general lien or general judgment, they would have to go record it in the county for the other property.
okay, so it is
And then it's the person and the property. But if the person also owns other properties, then that individual is going to also have to record against those other properties in the county that those properties are at.
so he has to physically go and record it so that the other person will not be able to sell it.
That's
Or if
correct.
if the other person sells it, then he will get his lien paid from
So,
those proceeds or
could
whatever,
be,
right?
right.
The broker's
Could be.
license is
Thinking
suspended. The
positively here,
licenses
yes.
of his or her salespersons are what?
A, also suspended automatically.
Are also suspended automatically.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's not gonna be affected.
All right. So number 81, if a broker's license is suspended, the licenses of his or her salespersons are also automatically suspended. You cannot work without a broker.
Got it.
Okay.
Unless you find a new broker, right?
Unless you move over, but we don't have that choice here.
All right.
In this question, they are automatically suspended. But in another question, it might say, but the salesperson can work when they transfer to another brokerage. Yes, that is true. Okay, so, but in this case, they're just stating that the broker's license is suspended, so the licenses of the salespeople are also suspended. How long, if we're just talking in generalities here, how long, if it's a suspension, how long is it suspended for?
The 3 years?
Right, till the end of the term, right? Until the next renewal period, right? So depending on where it's at. So right now we're March 2024. So it would be suspended until June 30th, 2025, right? True or false?
Yeah, before the renewal.
Before the renewal. All right. Now, obviously, they're going to go through whatever and they're going to get it way before then. But when you get a license suspended, it's suspended for the term of the license. So if this was July 15th, 2023, right? We just finished renewing everything. So that means it would be until June 30th, 2025. All right, just so we understand what we're talking about. All right.
Okay.
A broker salesperson must do what?
82. B.
B, meet all broker
required.
qualification. All right.
Yes.
Number 83. In New Jersey, an oral listing agreement is what?
Is it Charlie?
83. C.
Must be confirmed in writing within
Yes.
5 days.
What was the
Yes,
word
yes.
you used for that earlier
See.
in the when I was asking what was the word you used for that?
Parole evidence rule.
What is it? Hang on. Parole evidence rule. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, they might
All right.
ask that. Okay.
Number 84. In New Jersey, a licensed broker must have what?
C. As in Charles.
B.
A separate
84?
escrow account is the correct answer. Ding, 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 ding. A sales
Can I see the answer again? 84?
84 is the answer is B, right? Yeah, B. Okay.
a separate
Yeah.
escrow bank account.
Okay, B. Okay.
85. A salesperson or broker may have to start all over again with classes and examination if a license is not renewed for when?
2
2
years.
years.
2
B.
years. Ding, 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 ding. New Jersey laws allow a landlord to refuse to rent to
86. C.
see people with dogs is
C.
Yes.
people with dogs. Ding, ding, ding.
Can you
Mhm.
explain that? Because I got stumped actually. Uh, I said A for some reason, and in my answer. So why?
Oh.
Discriminatory.
Unless it's a service dog, but people with dog, we can say no.
No pets.
Okay.
But you can't say no children, and you cannot say no Section 8,
Oh, welfare means Section 8. Okay.
right? So you're not allowed to do that. Which type of listing is illegal in New Jersey?
Net listing.
Net listing, ding,
B.
ding, ding. That is correct. B is the correct answer. Every listing must include what?
I don't know.
C.
C. Notice that commissions are negotiable. Ding, ding, ding is the correct answer.
Yeah, I gave the answer as B for some reason, because I thought the actual attribute of
commission
the
and
property
negotiation.
has to be there. So we have how can I eliminate B in this? Must include.
But keyword is must include. So we don't have to
This is the
include
commission
square
and
footage.
negotiation.
We don't
Okay.
have to include the broker's home phone number, right?
Okay.
And we don't have to promise that the broker is going to advertise the property,
That's cool.
right?
Right.
But no
It
matter
depends.
how we look at it, aren't commissions all negotiable?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
Yes.
No matter how you look at it, commissions are negotiable, no matter what. So that's what you need to know. And again, listing means we're selling. We're marketing the property, right? So marketing means commissions. We therefore have to negotiate our commissions. They are not set. Okay, number 89. In New Jersey, a landlord may not refuse a tenant.
89 or 88?
We just did 88. Okay, so now
Okay. 88 is C. Okay.
B.
in New Jersey, a landlord may not refuse a tenant solely because of what?
Children in the family.
Good. Now that comes under which law?
For housing.
Yes, and also the New Jersey law against discrimination. It's included in both laws. All right, good job. Ding, 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 ding.
Excuse me, Gloria. About that question. Can you scroll back? Yeah, credit history. I thought that there is new laws that doesn't allow landlords to check the credit history. No? Anymore?
No, landlords can check the credit history, but right now I would not worry about it because we're talking about you don't want to put real life into the state exams.
Oh no, I'm not talking about real life. I'm worried about the question.
Landlord may not refuse. I was a little stumped with this one. Landlord may not refuse a tenant solely because of.
Children in the family.
Okay.
Right? Familial status. Any family with children under 18, they cannot refuse.
So
rent.
they can refuse based on all the other three. Pet ownership.
Pet ownership, unlawful income, or credit history. Yeah.
They can refuse, but they cannot
Theoretically.
refuse. Okay.
Keyword theoretically.
Theoretically.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, because again, we're not going to get into that. All right, so let's continue on. Number 90. Okay, we're almost done. In New Jersey, continuous, open, notorious, hostile, and exclusive occupation of another's real property may lead to acquisition through adverse possession after a period of how many years?
30 years.
30 years is the
30
correct
years.
answer. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, number 91. After the 75-hour course is successfully completed, license application must be made within
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. Okay, so now let me just ask you this question because I had a conversation with somebody. 1 year within your taking the state exam or 1 year with you passing the course exam?
Taking the state
The state exam.
No, 1 year passing the course exam.
Ding, 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 Adil. Good job. Course exam.
Okay.
Wait until the state exam. You're gonna have to come back again to the classes.
Oh, my thing is down here. That's why you can't hear me.
All right. So the answer is it's based on the course exam. Now, getting your license. How do you get your license? Who gives you your license?
PSI,
You-
Real Estate Commission.
Nope.
You must pass the course exam for you to go for your license.
Who gives you your license?
Real Estate
Broker.
Commission.
How do you get
The
license?
state?
Let me repeat.
Broker.
The broker.
Ding, 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 ding.
Broker. Yeah.
Right? The broker is the one that's giving you the license. So let's just say you pass the course exam today. Let's use that as an example. You take your state exam a month from now, right? And you've waited around, and now it's March 7th, 2025, right? You pass the state exam. Do you have a license?
No.
No, no, right?
Until you register with the broker.
So the only time, yes, and you have to do it before a year from the course, right? Not the state exam, from the course date, the end of the course
Okay.
exam. All right. The salesperson's license examination can be taken only by who?
See.
C.
See?
Anyone who has successfully completed an approved pre-licensing course. Ding, ding, ding. Number 93. Unless the experience requirement is waived, the applicant for a broker's license must have served a full-time apprenticeship as a licensed salesperson for at least how long?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. Ding, 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 ding. Records of all contracts of sale and listing agreements must be kept by a broker for at least how long?
6
6
years.
years.
6
See.
years. What happens if it's a listing that expired and there was nothing with that listing? How long do they have to keep it?
6
6
months.
months.
6 months. How
Yes.
how long do they have to keep if it was just an offer but it never went through?
6 months.
6
6
months.
months
Ding,
too.
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. Good job. The Real Estate Commission is composed of how many members?
8.
See,
5.
8.
No,
8.
8.
8.
Eight.
8.
Okay.
8.
And the brokers that are part of the Real Estate Commission, how long do they have to be in business, and do they have to be New Jersey residents?
3 years.
Okay. What was that again, John? How many years,
Yes.
and do they have to be New Jersey residents? Anybody?
What is the
Uh,
question again? Can you repeat the question?
Sure. The question was the brokers that are part of the Real Estate Commission, how many years do they have to be in business, and do they have to be New Jersey residents?
10 years.
They don't have to be New Jersey resident,
Yes, they do.
or they have to.
Yes.
3.
3.
10.
3 years.
10.
10 years and New Jersey residents. Okay.
To be a broker, right?
My it's not on.
To be a to be a part of the Real Estate Commission. So we're talking about the brokers that are part of the real estate commission? That was the question. But to be a broker, you still have to be a New Jersey resident,
Uh-huh.
right? Unless you're
All
planning
right.
on signing what kind of a document? If you're not a New Jersey resident, what kind of a document do you sign?
Consent,
to you,
consent to be sued in New Jersey.
to sue
Yeah.
in New Jersey. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, good. At least we know that. Good job. Ding, ding, ding. All right. Educational requirements for a broker's
Insist.
license can be waived for certain
See?
A.
A,
broker's license in other states.
another state. Yeah.
All right. Good job. A New Jersey real estate salesperson must be what?
D,
D is in
D,
David.
Sponsored by a supervising
So,
broker. That's
broker,
the only
yes.
way you're going to get your license.
right.
The guarantee fund is used for what
C.
purpose?
C, reimburse the
C.
public.
Reimburse the public for
C.
losses arising from licensees' wrongdoings.
Mhm.
That's correct.
Mhm.
Number 99, a broker could lose his or her license for sharing a commission with whom?
A, another broker salesperson.
Good. Ding,
A.
ding, ding. 100, with certain restrictions, a commission may be shared with an unlicensed person in the form of a rebate to whom?
Buyer.
The seller.
Buyer. Ding, 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 ding,
Okay.
ding. Good
D.
job. When a new building is considered safe for human habitation, a building inspector can issue what?
Certificate of occupancy.
A certificate of occupancy.
A.
Ding, 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 ding. Good job. The largest fine that may be charged as a penalty for violation of the New Jersey license law is what?
50,000.
50,000.
No, 5,000.
No, I have B.
5.
B is correct. B is correct.
5,000.
That's
B is
5,000
correct. 5,000.
for the New Jersey law, New Jersey license law. The New Jersey Real Estate Commission is part of what?
Department
A.
of Banking Insurance.
A.
Ding, ding,
A.
ding, ding, ding. Which of the following needs a real estate license when involved in handling a real estate transaction?
C.
C.
Nope,
No.
nope.
The auctioneer.
D.
An
Yeah, it was
auctioneer.
little. We have to eliminate all the other three, right?
That's correct. An executor does
C.
not need a license.
C.
A bank does
And
not
F
need
for-
a license. And a developer, they're selling their own homes in their division. They don't need a license. In this case, auctioneer.
Is
And
an
in New
auctioneer.
Jersey, we do not have an auctioneer license, so they would need to get a real estate license. All right, number 105. The deed known in New Jersey as a bargain and sale deed with covenants against grantors acts is also known as what kind of a deed? Nope.
D, special warranty deed.
Special warranty deed. Ding, ding,
Okay,
ding, ding,
D.
ding. That is the correct
Good.
answer. A man dies suddenly, leaving a wife and 2 minor children, but no will. The New Jersey law of descent provides that his wife is entitled to what?
D.
Nope.
C is the answer.
50,000.
D.
The answer is C. $50,000, half of the remaining estate is the correct answer. 107. New Jersey Consumer Information Statement lists what?
D.
Licensee agency relationship.
D as in dog.
C.
C is the correct answer. In New Jersey, Megan's Law requires what?
A.
A.
is an apple.
Apple, correct. Ding, 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 ding. The Mount Laurel lawsuits were concerned with what?
D is in dog.
D is in David.
Exclusionary zoning. Ding, ding, ding. That is the correct
Yes.
answer. And the last one, 110. In New Jersey, a residential lease for 1 year or more is subject to review and possible cancellation by the tenant's attorney.
I think it's C.
Within
C, within 3 business days of signing.
C.
All right. So how's everybody?
Not bad.
Whoops. Not bad.
Not terribly bad.